Now I've been wanting to do one of these old paint pot tanks for ages, and I've always had leftovers of paint in these pots. So I'm just going to decant it, as they say, into a smaller pot, clean it out, and then I'm going to make an Ork tank out of a paint pot. Welcome back to a bite-sized build. This is going to be, like I said in the intro, an Ork paint pot tank. So I'm just going to clean this up and we'll get on with the build. We should all know the reason why I'm sanding down the plastic, because the plastic is shiny, which is bad. Once you sand it, it gives it more grip for the super glue to adhere to. Thanks to the generosity of my subscribers, I have acquired a few bits and pieces of Ork Greeblies. Now, I don't have any green stuff, so I'm hoping this ages-old milliput will do. Time for a little nip and tuck. I'm going to take the top off the bottle, and then I'm going to tip everything out to see what bits I can play with. As I explained before, these little bite-sized builds are the builds I do in between my bigger builds when I get bored of doing the bigger builds or when I get stuck. So these are just random things that basically no one ever should see. It's just me just keeping idle hands happy. And since it was October, I just thought it would be fun for you guys to hopefully get some ideas to build some things yourself. So the wheels are on, and I'm going to use this round thing to try and cover that hole in the top of the bottle. And as luck would have it, I had something that fitted that round thing just nicely. Now, like I said, this milliput has been sat on the shelf for a few years now, and I don't know if it's going to work. So the only way I'm going to find out is by breaking it open and giving it a good squeeze. I was going to say rub, but that would be for the OnlyFans channel. So I'm going to try and attempt to add that bit there with some milliput, and I don't think it's going to stick. It's not. No. Oh, and there goes a wheel. Okay, I'll just milliput that back on as well. So far, things are not going too good for this build. The milliput is too dry and won't stick anything, so I'm having to sort of like incorporate some super glue into the milliput. I know that's wrong, but at this point I've waited too long to make one of these, so I'm going to use any sort of means I can that's possible. I'm just going to try and mash the milliput into or onto the bottle. Something from an old model kit I'm going to use as the extension for the back wheel, just to show you that it's the milliput that's not working and not the person that's trying to make this thing. I'm just using a little piece just to try and stick on the back so I can hold that wheel in place. I know it looks kooky, but this is my design. And it was at this point I decided just to throw this milliput away. I go back to old school kitbashing and just chop things off and stick things on until I have half a tank. All that's missing now is some arms. So I cut down all these long boring processes, but just kept adding little bits of greeblies, and then added some styrene teeth all along the top until I got something looking or resembling an Ork paint pot tank. Time for priming. For the primer, I'm going to use some of Gallery's Kaleido Matte Black primer. It's great stuff to put on. Leaves a lovely finish for all your top coats. Now, traditionally, you would have to put 2, 3, 4 coats of yellow on top of something black, but with Kaleido's paints, it's just one coat goes on and does the job. I'm going to leave a link in the description. If you want to try these paints out yourself, you get an extra 10% off if you use my link. And that's how she looks with that first coat. I'm going to go over certain parts of the tank with a darker yellow, And then break out the paintbrush and just start to titivate this paint pot tank up. Just going to use some red for that little arrow sign at the top. And then using a dry brush, I'm just going to go all over the black bits, which will be the arms and the wheels. A little bit of rust chipping effect with a little bit of sponge that I took off the kitchen sponge. Don't tell the other half. Then apply a wash, which is brown, which I instantly regret, because I have to go back over everything with a little yellow and touch things up. And that's it. That's how I've made my Ork paint pot tank. Glamour shots are next. That was my bite-sized build. Hope you enjoyed. Keep scratching that build, everybody. Thanks for watching.